Wow, someone's given us a thumbs up. We haven't started yet.
I know, the microphone is on. I like that.
Everyone.
That's a good start to the day to get love hearts and thumbs up before we've even gone to air. Thank you, bless you. How are you all going this week?
Give us more. Give us more.
We just want more. How are we? How are you doing, Renata? You look a bit different.
I know, right?
Hang on. Are we twinning?
Not yet. You've got a couple of shades to go.
I think yours is slightly more redder than mine at the moment.
I've gone for the Red Queen look. It's like the time to get the bitchy pants on.
Right.
So anyone who has watched Game of Thrones, you will know who the Red Queen is. Mm.
Oh, the Red Sorceress, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a bit,
a bit feisty.
All right, I'm just jumping onto the.
I'll do that. You can't see.
Oh yes, we've got to remove the brand because they haven't sponsored us. So yeah.
And if you do, we're here.
all 25 people would love to see it. So this week, where's the camera? There it is. This week we are on the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness, and what are we talking about, Renata?
We are talking about levitation. Levitation. When good things go bad.
All right, just entering the broadcast. So I might end up with a little bit of feedback here. Enter studio.
Good things tend to go bad when they go from things that apparently are heavenly and God-given gifts to then demonic and evil gifts. So there you go.
Oh, Melisandra, that's right. Thank you, Cara. All right, who we got on? I can now see. Susie, hi. Hi, Karen. Hi, Katie. Jill, Donna, Margie, James, Cara, Liz McCoy, Joanne McMasters. Here you go, Tic Tac Joe. They're all saying they love your hair.
Thank you.
Tilly Jean. I love
how much
that
of it.
name.
Look how much of it is.
God, how many boxes did you have to put through that?
Just one.
Hi, Anna, Maxine, Jeanette. Oh, and Jeanette, it was so lovely to talk to you on the radio show the other night. How cool is that? Shaylee, Susie, Valerie. Yeah, so we are talking about levitation.
We are.
And I have forgotten to put the dogs out. And they're wandering around in here with us.
Okay.
If they misbehave, I'll go lock them out the back. But they've been pretty good so far. So how's the week? What's happened this week so far?
Look, it looks like my T-shirt says gravy.
All right, T-shirts for the day.
Yard.
All right.
Gravy yard. Gravy
I love
yard.
coffee, but it goes right through. Here's my T-shirt. I do like my ghosty coffee T-shirts.
Right.
My dad's been in hospital, so
yes.
that's been a bit of a stress for me. But he, it turned out it was potassium imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
He does like his orange juice and bananas and things. And I don't think he'd been eating bananas, but he had been into the orange juice. And one of the tablets they had put him on put your potassium up.
Okay.
And this is where I get annoyed with doctors. Like this doctor we met at the hospital is fantastic.
Mm.
She's gone, Barry, you're on a lot of medications here. What are they all for? And he goes, I don't know. The doctor just gives it to me.
Yeah.
And they treat symptoms. They don't treat the core problem.
And they don't look at the overall balance of the medications.
No, they'll just keep prescribing more things with more issues. So this gorgeous doctor got him off 2 tablets.
Awesome.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's just wow.
Yeah, so that was my weekend. Of course, we had Spooky Sunday Radio, Newcastle Live Radio, for those who missed it. You missed the Liberace as an alien story, which left us in such hysterics that the 3 people in the room could not speak. We might do it for Elle.
Yeah.
On here.
No, this is Elle.
Oh.
Sorry. Get with the program.
Obviously, Renata does the research for this one.
Look, welcome to all of our beautiful friends in the States and in the UK and in the Northern Hemisphere. And, of course, we welcome all of our beautiful people here in Australia that are joining us today. We can't do this without your support. Well, we can, but we don't want to. So we are so happy to see you come up on these feeds and these lives, these little workshops, and absolutely just support us. It is just amazing. Courtney Peterson, thank you. Fearfest Paracon tickets over in the US, and we are so jealous, are on sale. Grab them. Support your local paranormal team. Support the Paranormal United Network by watching.
I have a drinking problem.
Have a friend who doesn't spill her coffee.
Oh, you do too.
There's a story about this morning. We might be able to tell you.
You need to come a bit this way.
We might be able to tell you a little bit at the end when we start our tarot readings. But thank you, Barbara Harrington Craft. Yeah, we might be able to sort of tell you a little bit, but you'll have to come back later on to watch the whole magnificence of it. Anyway, we are on to levitation. Share
the show. We've got to get these numbers up. We love doing this show, but the numbers sometimes just are that little bit down, and it's like, come on, guys, the information we're sharing is surely worth a share to some other paranormal pages that they might enjoy it.
I do hours of research. Now, come on, guys.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
Hello, Lorna.
Oh, Vancouver. Woohoo, Vancouver Island, Canada.
Oh, Vivian, thank you so much.
We are starting to plan our international travels for next year. We regularly do a trip with Dave Schrader. I've done Ireland, and we both did Romania with him, with our crazy gorgeous Americans, and we just saw that Scotland September 2022 is being planned. It is sold out, but we've put our name on the waiting list.
2 people are going to drop out.
2 people will drop out, and we will take those spots so we can join our crazy American friends again. It's such a hoot. All right, I need to get over to here, and let's get now onto the sharing the screen so we can get over to.
Oh, gorgeous, Vivian, you're an Aussie and you're living over in Canada. That's amazing. My cousin is over in Canada and she loves it.
All right, so I'm just going to make sure that we've got this screen up. Locked in down from the Central Coast. I know it sucks, doesn't it? Coo, did you just knock something?
So we are talking about levitation this week, the letter L. And I was wondering what topic to sort of talk about. And even though I pulled away from levitation a number of times, it seemed to be the one thing with the most information about it. So here we go. So levitation is a phenomena of psychokinesis in which objects, people and animals are lifted into the air without any visible physical means and float or fly about.
Indeed, oh, thanks, Liz. Yeah, sorry. I'm juggling a few things here.
Do you want me to do that?
The coffee? No, you're not touching my coffee. You can actually do it from here, so you just use your right arrow. And you can go to the next one. Okay. Yep.
So
hi, Renee. Hi, Faye.
Phenomenon has been said to have occurred in mediumship, shamanism, trances, mystical rapture, and demonic possession. So as we have been finding with all the research that we have been doing and the subjects that we have presented, many of the activities that we mention are worldwide phenomenon. So they are not just distinct to a particular country. They seem to happen everywhere around the world.
And you'll please note that I put all these beautiful little things in the background of pictures. That's been my total addition.
Constructive, yeah. That's fine. Some cases of levitation appear to be spontaneous, while spiritual or magical adepts are said to be able to control it consciously.
Imagine how much money we could save on airfares if we could just levitate and zoom across the ocean. Isn't that brilliant?
Fantastic.
I know, right?
Absolutely. jaw-droppingly amazing. I could
Janet.
see us presenting this to a
university
room,
for sure.
A room full of scientists.
Oh, speaking of which, we've got into the University of Edinburgh parapsychological. What is it? Is that what it is?
Part?
Whatever it is, class. Oh, I'm good on words.
So there seems to be several general characteristics about levitation. The duration of the phenomenon may last from a few minutes to hours. Wow. Generally, it requires a great amount of concentration or being in a state of trance or ecstasy.
Oh, so when you're at that moment of climax,
you're levitating.
You could possibly levitate. Now, I have to tell you,
that would change things, wouldn't it?
It would. Would it make you do it more often?
No, just keep it going.
I remember having a dream where I don't know if it was a dream, but it was real. I looked over at Roman, my husband, and he was levitating above his body. So his body was on the bed, but his ethereal body had come out and was levitating above him. And I just remember he had long hair at the time, and his hair was sort of like waving around like snakes. I must have had a bad curry that night, but you know.
So physical mediums who have been touched during levitation usually fall back to a surface, and physical mediums have normally this procedure where you are not allowed to touch them at all because of the ethereal body snapping back.
And quite often it has to be done in pitch black, so you can't actually see anything. But during the physical medium seances, they will have not just themselves levitate, but items within the room.
That's true.
Supposedly.
So let's go back to finding out when we started hearing about these levitating dudes and dudesses. Dudettes.
Oh, no, this actually, Renata, words. It's still early in the morning for us girls. Renee's just put up a message, and when I was a teenager many moons ago, my friends and I tried to levitate one another. Think the craft. Do you remember the
light as a feather?
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Are you all raising now?
Yeah, and you would put your fingers underneath someone like that, and you'd have everyone around in a circle, each with a finger underneath, and you'd be light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board, and you're supposed to let the person.
Yeah.
So did you do that at school?
No.
I did many times. Sometimes it actually worked, but it wasn't many hands make light work. Don't know.
That's a form of hypnosis.
But when the body actually starts to like, yeah, I just think as many hands make light work.
Oops. I didn't talk about Simon Magus or Magus, whichever one you want to say. So Simon Magus or Simon Magus in the 1st century was really the first person that we have any information about levitating. And there he is being lifted up by what looks like angels.
Because later on they didn't actually think of him as angelic, did they?
Angels or demons. They do look like they've got horns.
Yes, that's because anyway, that comes up shortly.
Yes.
I did read the notes.
Yes. So these are actual photographs of the processes of, like, that's an actual photograph of Simon Magus levitating from the 1st century. It's
absolutely. Did you take it?
It's on Google. It's on Google, so it is true, right? You're a cow.
I know.
Now, Joseph of Cupertino, from the 1603 to 1616, geez, he had a short life.
You've got to say it like Cupertino.
Was the famous flying
friar.
He
was 13 years old.
I don't know. That might be wrong. Some reason,
I don't know.
Or maybe that's when that's that. There
got a fabulous beard for a 13-year-old.
That might be the years of his levitation.
He was levitating for 13 years at one time. All right, let me see if I can find him.
There is a lot of information about Joseph of Cupertino. The interesting thing is that a lot of the information varies.
Yeah.
So there will be people that say
63. He was born in 1603 and died in 1663.
Right, okay. I missed the 63, obviously. Okay. Excuse me for my little slip of numbers there.
I should have noticed.
Yeah, so there are many conflicting accounts of how far he levitated, how many times he levitated, and yeah, so on and so forth. So he's a very interesting story.
But there were so many witnesses to it.
Mm-hmm. So Dr. Michael Grosso believes the case of St. Joseph may very well be true. In his book, The Man Who Could Fly, St. Joseph of Cupertino and the Mystery of Levitation, Dr. Grosso discusses the many eyewitnesses to the priest's air shows. Dr. Grosso explains how the priest often simply hovered slightly above the ground, while other times he soared over the crowds throughout Italy for over 35 years. In fact,
Wow.
the Epoch Times clarifies the church moved the priest from one church to another due to causing such a stir in the towns. That's an interesting thing, how they moved him around so people would stop talking about him.
Or were they moving him around so more people flocked to the church to see what was happening?
That's a point. He was reprimanded, but you cannot fly. Stop it. Stop doing it. But apparently couldn't control his flying. The Epoch Times states...
You imagine being halfway through a sermon and the Lord came up.
States that some of the eyewitnesses included several cardinals and an unnamed pope, and the inquisitors sent to investigate the priest for canonization.
They sent the inquisitors. But to see if he was truly a saint. Okay.
Or a witch. Then we have St. Teresa of Avila, who was another well-known saint.
Avilia.
Who was reported to levitate.
Sorry.
And here we have a real photograph instead of a real painting. At the beginning of the 20th century, Gemma Galgani, a passionist nun, reported to levitate during rapture. I need to get that book because I need to know more about what a passionist nun is. And if anyone knows and can give us some information about a passionist nun, that would be awesome. And what her form of rapture would be.
Well, I certainly know a form of rapture.
No,
Renee said,
excuse me,
Renee said, hope he made sure he had something under those robes. She floated across going, oh, he's circumcised.
Oh my God, how many people have we got left? We started off with 40. How many do we have?
31. It's okay.
Good. You're hanging in there, guys. Excellent. As you can see, this could go very badly here. So bring someone else on. Let them watch the catastrophe.
At least the set hasn't fallen over. That's good. Hey, we actually kept the show together on Sunday night. We both had a turn at working the radio boards, and let me tell you, there's so many switches and buttons and so many things that we can feck up. We both managed it. We both did it. I was so super proud. We were terrified, but super proud. Sorry.
We'll be even more terrified when we're there on our own.
But here, Susan. Thank you, Susan. The Passionist Nuns of St. Joseph Monastery are Roman Catholic cloistered contemplative nuns located in the Diocese of Owensboro, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So they're from America. Thank you, Dr. Google, and thank you, Susan Davey.
Thank you, Susan Davey. So then we go around the world and we look at all of the different religious beliefs and find that there are people that levitate everywhere. So Milarepa, the great 20th century yogi of Tibet, is said to have possessed many occult powers such as the ability to walk, rest and sleep during levitating.
Oh, okay.
That's
so. Isn't it interesting?
Can you imagine him going through McDonald's drive-through?
I have some chicken splits.
No, they wouldn't serve him because he's not in a car.
Oh, hey, Deborah Ann's actually saying, my dad did transcendental meditation for many years. He learned yogi flying, where they hop around cross-legged, seemingly defying gravity.
Yes. I did read about that during this. I'm not sure whether I've got a slide of it. But
I'm just trying to imagine you and I being cross-legged hopping. We would break something.
I wouldn't get off the ground. I'm too big. So throughout history, the determining factor for judging whether the practice of levitation is caused by good or evil influence seems to depend on one doing the levitating. Simon Magus was judged evil, while Saint Teresa was said to do it in states of rapture.
So this is your belief system. I was actually going to say for the last slide that it was interesting that they had said he had occult powers for levitating, but these saints are or these Christians who have been doing it are saints. So it's all from your bias, your perspective of what this actually is.
There seems to be a point in time, though, when things changed, because there was a certain belief that this whole levitation actually was a gift from God. But then, like I said...
Unless you weren't a Christian.
Then it turned quite evil, and it looked at something that was from demonic forces. So during the Middle Ages and Renaissance, levitation was thought to be a manifestation of evil. There you go. So that's when it all changed. We're not supposed to do this. In 1906, Clara Germana Celi, a 16-year-old schoolgirl from South Africa, was said to be demonically possessed.
Oh, no, I haven't heard of this case.
Yes, I hadn't either, but it's really interesting, and it might turn up on True Hauntings.
Should I write it on the board?
I've already,
It's not there.
No, I know, but I'm sure we'll do it. Again, this poor 16-year-old girl, she does look traumatized there.
Oh, and look, there's somebody there holding her down, and no wonder she's traumatized.
And
the
there
poor chicken.
are certainly more photographs like that of her. So she raised up 5 feet in the air, sometimes vertically and sometimes horizontally. When sprinkled with holy water, she came out of these states of possession. This was taken as proof of demonic possession. Likewise, incidents of poltergeists and hauntings often involve the levitation of objects.
Oh, and we in our True Hauntings podcast, we did the Black Monk of Pontefract.
Yes.
And there is a great story in there about the aunt who says, this is all just rubbish, it's all just stuff and nonsense. And a jug of milk comes out of the fridge, levitates over the top of her and empties itself on her. It's a crack up.
That's true. That's true. Now, the most famous is Daniel Douglas Home, who reportedly did it over a 40-year period. In 1868, he was witnessed levitating out of a 3rd-story window and floated back into the building through another window. This is a really famous story, this thing of him levitating out a window and coming back through another window. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Italian medium Amedei Zuccarini was photographed levitating with his feet 20 feet off of a table. There are a number of very interesting photos of him doing this.
Can I just say, this photo here, is this supposed to be one of the photos?
Yes.
There is very definitely upward movement happening there that is faster than the shutter speed. It looks to me like they've jumped.
Yes, and that's what later on was found out to have been happening.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, just ruined that.
It's all right. It's okay. Here, that's another one.
Yeah.
Yep, that's another one.
Jump! Oh, look, I'm levitating.
Yeah. I find it extraordinary that he would do that, because even an upward motion would cause issues for people watching him. But I think this was also done in darkness. So whoever was taking the photograph, or very, very low light, whoever was taking the photograph did quite a good job. But you can imagine how this in the early 1900s would have been looked at as something extraordinary.
Yeah, and look, our listeners are all over it. Shaylee and Renee are all going, hang on, he's jumping.
Yeah.
But it was reported as levitation.
Yep. So figures such as the famous Mrs. Guppy and the Italian medium Eusebia Palladino stand out. Mrs. Guppy ignited middle-class intrigue in the wake of a tale of her transportation and levitation from a friend's home in Highgate to Lamb's Conduit Street in Holborn on June 3rd, 1871. Now, I don't know how far that is from Highgate to Lamb's Conduit Street in Holborn, but obviously it must have been far enough away, for it to be extraordinary.
Hey, Joshua, we're still here. Haven't got rid of us yet.
Although this incident was considered genuine by spiritualists such as Arthur Conan Doyle and A. Campbell Holmes, it was dismissed by skeptics as a hoax.
I love Arthur Conan Doyle, and he's a very intelligent man, but he also was quite gullible, sadly, and there were people that took advantage of his beautiful heart because he wanted...
He so desperately wanted to believe.
It's because his son was killed overseas, and he just wanted to be able to speak to them one more time.
Yeah. So, and this is where the story of women coming into the spiritualist movement and having gifts turns really sour and really terrible because like Guppy and Palladino, these women became highly sexualized figures.
Mm-hmm.
The men really tried to look at this... dissing them, disrespecting them, looking at ways of making it all sound really foul, terrible, horrible. If it was a man that had done this, obviously, they wouldn't have gone through the ridicule that these poor women went through.
And look, this is the culture at the time. Sadly, there's still quite a bit of that around.
Oh, yes, lots of it.
So some of us haven't learned, and that's up to all of us, not just the blokes. We also need to let our gorgeous men in our lives know when what they're doing is mansplaining or treating us in a way that is not quite what it should be, or we're being treated differently, because sometimes they just don't know. Even my gorgeous husband sometimes will start mansplaining to me, and I'll say, darling, you do realise what you're doing? And he'll go, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't realise that. So we can always say it in a nice way.
Yeah. Guppy and Palladino became highly sexualized figures. Both were taunted and ridiculed for being fat. That's all they could find. That's all they could find to ridicule them with, their body shape. Many newspaper characterizations of Guppy's flight played upon the size and weight of her body, repeating some of the tropes of fatness and supernatural flight associated with the witch we found above. Weight and lightness were a prime object for satire, making her levitation seem somehow more absurd, while hinting at her apparent low class, low morals, and yearning for both sex and ascendance.
Wow. We can do better as humanity. We can do better.
Mm.
Now, like my little picture down the bottom there, I tried so hard.
Now, this is like, that was about a bit over 100 years ago. But what has changed? I guess we need to look at society and look overall. What about our biases and the way we think about things has actually changed from that point in time?
Even in our shows with Isaac Butterfield, like the last one that we did, there was someone who put on there, they were last seen running towards a cake shop and never seen again.
Yeah.
So even then, they're still fat shaming and carrying on. It's like, and because we're older women, we're faking everything, and it's all not real. But if it was big buff men on there who were going, oh, it's a demon, they would be all over it, going, oh yeah, mate, yeah. So.
Or nice, young, gorgeous things with
boobs that are here. Hang on, I'll just...
Big boobies. Yeah. So for women, levitation has tended to be viewed as an affliction, as a fraudulent power and diminishing of class and status. Wow. Or as the supernatural puppetry of a male protagonist pulling the strings. Men hardly ever levitate in the same way, appearing to be far more willful, assertive, and domineering, or simply closer to God.
Because they're men, they're allowed to be closer to God.
As the many religious tales of levitating saints attest. So
Yes.
this is how it's gone full cycle. And if we go back to the fact of when all of these saints, which were men in most cases.
There is a female.
There is a female there.
That has levitated fairly recently that you've left out, but it's all right.
I know. I saw that. Very interesting. So this is Guppy. This is Madam Guppy.
I love that picture.
And the fact that everyone there is literally just pushing her up and getting her mobile. Even the moon is staring and going, well, holy cow, there you go. And I mean, in this day and age, she would not be looked upon as fat at all. Not at all. I love the little sprite on the bottle of wine or whatever it's on.
Annette saying, do you all know of the Eddy brothers? My maiden name is Eddie. Yes, they are my ancestors. But I don't know if they weren't. They are fascinating. I'm not aware of them. I'll have to look them up. Thank you.
Send us some information. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I love the way that people interact and give us pieces of gold.
Yeah.
So absolutely join in and give us
Courtney
some information.
said she's enjoying this. All interesting stories. Hi Mel, welcome. Colin, yes.
Colin Evans, the levitating man. This is another guy, and he's very stiff while he does it, doesn't he? It looks like his neck goes into his shoulders.
Looks like he's in a harness being lifted. I don't know. He was very famously photographed doing this. If you notice on that one, there are some wires on the one on the left that go up to him. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, there's one on the right as well. So,
or are they tethers to hold him?
No. They believe that because this was also done in quite low light or darkness, often the wire was not seen. And this is part of how he actually did it.
They electrocuted him and he jumped up.
Again, another false levitation. So Colin Evans was an early 20th century Welsh spiritualist and medium who claimed to be able to levitate. Evans would routinely host seances in large halls and request that the room be in complete darkness. Now, how would you see him levitate if the room was in complete darkness?
Because his voice would be heard somewhere else.
What's the point of that? Anyway, as his believers gathered around him and chanted, there would suddenly be a flash. In the instant of blinding light, Colin Evans would supposedly be seen levitating. So here we go. That little wire would be attached to a button where he would produce some sort of a flash.
Right. So he would get himself into position. He would jump. So he's trying to hold himself as still as possible. Yeah. Okay.
So anyone who wasn't a believer...
This makes me sad because I just want it to be real. I want to talk about things that are real, but it is what it is.
So anyone who wasn't a believer before the seance would certainly be one after. However, skeptics soon noticed that all of his levitation photos seemed to feature a cord running out of his left hand, and that in almost every photo his feet seemed to be blurred slightly.
But then we also have the problem that we are also skeptical. It's even if we saw real phenomena or witnessed real phenomena, would we actually believe it? Because we've now become so skeptical because there's so many frauds.
Yep. That's true. So eventually the truth came out, and it was discovered that Evans was employing the simplest of methods to trick his followers: jumping. Evans would hold his seances in complete darkness, and as soon as his followers were getting into it, he would jump straight into the air. The cord was a trigger for a camera placed in the ceiling. There you go. Levitation in shamanism reports, or levitation in shamanism, reports of shamans levitating during ceremonies, healings, and TUNGUS seances. Yeah, I don't know. Has existed ever since there have been shamans. In shamanism, archaic techniques of ecstasy. MIRCEA ELIADE writes, the shaman becomes light and can spring into the air. Oh, lovely picture.
Do you like that one? I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty good too.
Possession and levitation, the reality of spirit or demon possession and levitation are both controversial topics. So far, no one has filmed a possessed person actually levitating.
Fancy
Obviously,
that!
obviously, they have not seen The Exorcist movie. But isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
No one has filmed a possession or a possessed person actually levitating.
Yep.
The Christian Post featured psychiatrist Dr. Richard Gallagher's account of a 39-year-old woman called Julia who levitated during an exorcism. Julia floated 6 inches in the air over the bed for nearly 30 minutes.
Wow.
But was it real or not?
I know, you're relying on somebody's word.
Yeah. A QIGONG master is believed to have mastered chi energies and can control and manipulate energies even at a distance. Aside from being an astral projection expert, a QIGONG master is believed to have the ability to manipulate chi energy. This ability also gives the master the ability to levitate at will. Nice picture. Then you have transcendental meditation yogic flying, which is what our lovely contributor right at the beginning said. The ultimate goal of transcendental meditation is to unify the mind and body by increasing the level of brain waves. Transcendental meditation practices what's commonly called yogic flying. Buddhist monks have long been reputed to levitate during meditation. Vedic texts and yoga sutras of Maharishi Patanjali give a detailed account of the 3 stages of learning to fly. The first stage that most people have witnessed resembles cross-legged hopping. The second stage is defined as momentary hovering, while the third stage is the ability to fly at will through the sky. Wow.
Renee, how high is 6 inches? As a woman, I've been lied to all my life. I think it inches.
Now, it would be interesting for those that are online right now watching this to tell us if you have experienced flying in your dreams.
I have.
And it has been years since I have had a dream where I have flown.
Me too.
In my dreams. Absolute years. And I have to say, whenever I have dreamt, I have felt myself flying. It has been the most extraordinary experience, the most beautiful dream ever.
I used to fly a lot when I was a child.
Yeah.
My dreams were full of me flying. It was amazing to the point that I actually was starting to think I could fly.
Yeah. So, yeah, let us know if you've had dreams of flying. And
Janet says yes.
Yeah, how whether you've had any
Donna,
recently.
Yes. Years ago.
Yeah.
Then falling. Oh, that falling when you land back in your bed. Oh, it's awful.
So Tibetan flying mystics, according to the Museum of Oglethorpe University in Atlanta, Georgia, Marco Polo reportedly was an eyewitness to Tibetan lamas levitating. The mysticism and ability to fly was so profound that Tibetan art depicted the flying and levitating events.
Maxine says yes. Shaylee says yes. Susie says yes. Renee says yes.
Wow. Wow. Most extraordinary experience and so vivid. Those dreams are absolutely so vivid. Amazing. Yeah. Today, scientists tend to be very skeptical of this type of phenomena, attributing it largely to mass hypnosis of the audience, clever illusions, or even drug-induced hallucinations. So I guess for those of a scientific mind, the idea of levitation is still one of those things that most people would go, no, it really doesn't happen. For those that are more spiritual and have either been in the teachings of shamans and ancient cultures, would probably say there is a opportunity to believe that it does happen.
Just adding to the list, Joanne, Janet, Barbara, Deborah Ann, James, have all had those dreams. There's Nobody said no. They're all saying
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Valerie's had dreams of teeth falling out.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that usually means that money's leaving your pocket as well, teeth falling out.
And Mum's funeral many years ago while she was still here. Yeah, straight.
Wow.
I've got the hiccups now.
Now, is human levitation possible? So from the point of view of human levitation being paranormal, it is at best anecdotal stories until there is documented proof. This would require video footage and scientific experimentation that could duplicate and repeat phenomena. Now, remember that in most cases when we're looking at paranormal phenomena, they are they cannot be, you can't will them to be because you want them to be at a particular time. That's one of the problems with paranormal phenomena.
Yeah.
Just because you set up an experiment doesn't mean you're going to get a result because you've set up the experiment.
It's what makes it so difficult to test in the lab as well, because you can't make a spontaneous event happen when you want it to.
Yeah, that's correct. And that's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. The various eyewitness reports of levitation describe spontaneous events that so far haven't been captured by video. And of course, I forgot one.
So this is my slide that I've added to this little talk. She forgot one very important person who was very well known for her levitations.
Absolutely.
And was absolutely real, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And this takes me right back to when I was a little girl and I heard of this amazing story.
Yes.
And I can't believe.
You forgot her.
There we go.
Sally Field as the flying nun. She just had no control with that. A gust of wind would come along and off she'd go. And she'd end up flying around the place. So, yes.
Now, who remembers this absolutely fantastic series? Who remembers this fabulous series?
Joshua's also pointed out, don't forget when Marlena was possessed by the devil and levitated off the bed on Days of Our Lives. Oh, yes, Joshua.
I completely missed that.
Oh, hello, Mr. Keller. How are you?
Hello,
you
Patrick.
like me? You really like me. Everyone, don't forget to stop over to the Big Seance podcast and check out Patrick's show that he does. Very informative and funny. We do love it. Patrick.
Yeah, we love our piece of Patrick.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
James says, I have flown across a room. Of course, it was at the end of a punch, but does that count?
Well, that was your moment of levitation. So as we finish this beautiful slideshow, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Anne and Renata, and please also support our community Facebook page, Anne and Renata Frightfully Good. At the moment, we do have a workshop coming up this month, and it is called The Survival Guide for Empaths. And the good thing is it is completely online. So if you would like to take part in this, the cost is only $60, and it is 3 one-hour classes over 3 weeks on a Monday evening, which would be either a Sunday morning, in America.
Yeah, or they can just catch up.
Or you can just catch up, because it will be online on a private Facebook page. And those coming on board now are already getting tips, and we're having conversations about this whole empath thing. And so we kind of form a small community on a private Facebook page for those people who come on board and do our workshops and things. And it's especially with empaths, sometimes only another empath will be able to really empathize with what you are going through as one. So it's a great way of having these discussions in a small private group where there's no one that will just poo-poo the whole thing and go, oh, you're just being special.
But we are special.
We're all special in our own way.
We're all so special.
So yes, if you jump onto Anne and Renata at Frightfully Good, you will see that as a through our Facebook feed, but you have to actually go to the Australian School of Ghost Hunting for the event there to be published. and you can jump on there and yeah, take part. And for Americans, it's as cheap as chips because our Australian dollar is just shite at the moment. So, geez, yeah, an absolute bargain
better
for you
than what
guys.
it was. It's much better than what it was. It was really bad there at one stage. Yeah, we were saying that earlier, Patrick, that we, as children, many of us had flight, a big part of our dreams. Yeah. So as we get older, that seems to stop. All right. So
okay, our next.
I want to tell the Liberace story.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Hang on. Do you want the Liberace story or do you want the tarot readings? It's up to you guys. Write it in the comments now. I'll just get it just in case. You tell them what you got to tell them.
I've forgotten.
Coming up next week?
Oh, I was going to say, thank you. Next week we are doing the letter M. If you have an amazing subject that you think we should cover for M, can you put it in the comments right now? And we might choose one of your ideas for the letter M. Otherwise, we will go through our book.
Okay.
This one.
Mermaids.
And we will choose a subject, but please let us know if there is a subject that you think might be interesting, and we will cover it, or that you would like to know more about.
All right.
I want to hear about Liberace.
They want both. We've got. Do you think sleep paralysis is normal? I'm a sufferer, and I think there's a link.
Sleep paralysis, more than anything, has a lot to do with your health and what you are thinking about during the day. So you need to be very, very grounded and bring yourself back into your body, and also look after your health, your well-being, and your diet. The less sleep you have, and wholesome good sleep where you can get into those deep REM states where your brain and yourself can have a rest, then the less sleep paralysis that you will have. If you find that you are in stress or trauma, you are more likely to also have sleep paralysis. And my suggestion is go and get checked out by a doctor, because sleep paralysis is a symptom of many different things, but mostly it is a symptom of ill health, and there might be something else going on there that needs to be looked at mentally and physically before you attach it to the paranormal. But in saying that, if you are doing a lot of paranormal psychic mediumship work, the likelihood of having sleep paralysis as a byproduct of that is also quite high. That's why we always recommend making sure that you understand that you are in a heavy earthly body, and that is part of who you are as well. So we can spend all the time we like in our dream states and in those psychic states, but we are not in our reality when we do that. We are somewhere else. And we need to come back into our body so that we can actually rest and have a proper sleep.
There goes the dog bomb. The vote is for the cards.
Okay.
More Than the Liberace is an alien story.
Okay.
Right, so what are your questions? Remember, there is no health questions like, will I survive my cancer treatment? Or is my partner going to die of a heart attack? No super personal relationship questions like, should I leave my partner? Is somebody cheating on me? Anything like that. But if you've got questions about your love life, about your career, about friendships and icky situations in the family, we like specific questions, please.
I also like James's comment here, don't have crystals near your bed. I had a friend who actually I had a dream about last night who used to sleep with crystals all through her bed. It annoyed her husband to no end. they have now split up. Might be because of the crystals. But yeah, all of those things that will energetically just kind of, not get you in the right space and grounded will affect your quality of sleep, which could lead to sleep paralysis. And we might do sleep paralysis in when we get to the letter S, because everyone keeps on talking about it and wants to know more about it.
And Pink Unicorn wanted to let you know that her son did get the funding. So that's awesome.
Yay! There you go. Awesome. Thank you.
Annette wants to know, will her doctor's appointment go well?
Okay. So that's about
sort of a bit healthy.
That's about as close to a health question as you can get, Annette. You sneak that in. You sneak that in.
Now, Renata reads the tarot cards. She's very gifted and talented in this area. I read the naughty oracle cards, and I wish I could read the other ones, but we haven't done an unboxing.
Our oracle cards arrived this morning. Before I arrived here, I had to drag them up my driveway, one box, and run to the car to bring them.
I just about peed myself trying to lift that up.
So this is one box of 5 that arrived.
Oh, there's 5
today.
boxes?
5 boxes. Do you know how many we ordered? We had to get a good price.
A lot. Can we do an unboxing for these guys?
No, we cannot.
All right.
We've got to do it for our people. I'm sorry. We've got to do it for our people. All right. So, Annette, you have the 6 of Pentacles. So hard to show you this card. 6 of Pentacles here. And you know what? This card for me, when it comes to your question, is all about following the information that your specialist is going to give you, because your specialist is actually going to get you out of trouble. So I think your appointment's going to go really well. There will be costs involved because it is a Pentacles card, and Pentacles are all about money, finances, and everything that we own. But this card bodes well for your appointment, Annette.
Right. Nicole would like to know, will her finances improve?
Okay.
I didn't want to do a health card with the naughty cards because they're very naughty. They use very bad swear words, and I make it up as I go along.
And next week we'll be using our cards.
We will.
Will your finances improve? No. Not in the near future, Nicole. So you got to work harder, or try and I guess see what is available for you to do as you go through this kind of period. You have the Hermit card, and the Hermit card is one of those cards that teaches lessons about life. And sometimes they're good lessons, and sometimes they're hard lessons. And this is a little bit of maybe none of this being your fault per se, in that there is not much you can do about it. You just have to kind of just get through. And Nicole, you're just going to have to find other things that can occupy your mind, and that things that you can do at this point in time that are just going to get you through. But look, I'd love to give you a love and light message and go, everything's going to be fine. It's beautiful. Ask your spirit guides.
There's work to be done.
Blah, blah, blah. There's work to be done, my darling. There's nothing else you can do.
And
about
the
it.
naughty card actually sort of backs you up, Renata, for a change. Right, so it is saying you are prosperous. Stop telling your fecking story that you're not. So that means to me, you've got to look for what you've actually got in your life and realize how good you are off compared to other people. You're actually not in that bad position. So start looking for the good stuff in your life rather than focusing on the negative stuff. Will I end up currently buying the farm that I rent? Every time I look elsewhere, I keep getting pulled back here. Oh, I hope you do, Karen.
That sounds nice. Okay, Karen, here's your card. And it's the Justice card, again, one of those major arcana cards that looks for balance. This card often comes up when we are looking at contractual agreements being signed. So that would mean a yes.
Ooh. And Patrick is suggesting Moldavite. Someone else suggested mediumship.
Moldavite. Patrick.
And Valerie Martin says, can you see me going back into study?
Okay, Valerie, we'll get into yours. Oh, Patrick, it's the crystal sensation of Instagram. I think it's Instagram and Moldavite, TikTok.
Oh, TikTok!
Everyone wants Moldavite, and most people will say to you, do not play with Moldavite because it can really, really change things. So, and may not necessarily be something that you can handle. So, Valerie Martin, can you see me going back to study? Only, Valerie, if this is going to bring you more financial opportunities and success. So, at this point in time, don't go back to study if you don't really need to. But if you find that financially it's going to give you a better option, a better place, then yes. As you see, this ace card is this hand holding this coin that is kind of saying this is going to lead you in a new financial direction. Only do it if that is the case.
Right, we're going on to Jessica Taylor. I have a question about any future dating. Anything. Is there anything coming in my life? Sorry, I shouldn't have used that word. Anyway, something more serious maybe?
Oh, my God. Jessica, it's a hard time to find someone to love, isn't it?
Somebody to love.
And again, lots of pentacle cards today. So it's quite interesting that all of the questions that are coming up are coming from like they're not the root problem. They are not the root problem. So there, in all of these things that we've mentioned today, or all of the questions that we've mentioned today, there's something much deeper going on for all of you. There is some sort of missing link, something missing in your lives that you need to sort of go back to and reconfigure or re-look at. And again, this pentacle card here, even though it is a card that talks about what you own and what you have, Jessica, I think friendship more than anything, and a group of people around you that can support and assist and help you in the times when you feel truly lonely or disrespected by the crowd that you are currently with or the work that you do is the most important thing in your life at the moment.
All right, we're just about to run out of time. Valerie Martin saw we put a video up on our True Hauntings podcast Facebook page when we were at the Ostrich Inn. And it was the story about people being boiled and bodies and everything. And the movie was Sweeney Todd, I think that you are referring to.
Yeah.
But have a listen to that True Hauntings podcast, the Ostrich Inn. It's not what everyone thinks it was. It's a really good yarn, that one.
One more?
Yeah, one more. Someone said moon phases might be a good one.
People are dropping off.
Oh, my God. Sorry, one more.
Dropping off.
Oh, my God. Okay. Jodie Connell, my engagement party got cancelled due to Victoria's last lockdown. Will our new date in October go ahead?
Looks like it.
Yay!
It looks like it. Yes, the Knight of Wands is charging forward, but please still have a plan B.
Yep.
Please still have a plan B, because you know what? All of this is just shite at the moment and nothing is set in concrete. Everything can shift and change from one day to the next. So please just have a plan B and do not take it personally. Don't take it as in they're doing this to me on my special day. Oh.
All right, beautiful people, we have to get off because the next show, which I think is Spectral Sailor, is about to start on the Paranormal United Network, so make sure you stay on there and watch that show. We'll be back on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Sydney time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining in with all your fabulous comments. Make sure you check out the True Hauntings podcast and Big Sales podcast. Love yous all, and we'll see yous all on
The dark side.
Bye.